It is now official. The White House has released the proclamation of suspending entry of aliens who present a risk to the United States labor market following the coronavirus outbreak. I made a video this afternoon. The video was explaining two things. Number one was a breaking news about the immigration suspension, which was extended. And another one was talking about the future of the DV lottery. At the time I was making these videos, it was a breaking news also released by other networks, including CBS News, Apple News, and other ABC News and other channel. And at that time, we are talking about the sources from the White House, explain that one. But now we are talking about the official proclamation has been signed. And as you can see, this is the official proclamation, has been signed on this 22nd. And here it is already into signing and is going to be into effect officially from June 24th. Obviously, technically it's midnight today, but June 24th at 12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time when this is going to be into effect. How does that mean to many of you? Because when we were talking at the time before this one is signed, as I said, it's now breaking news, it is official, it has been signed for the rest of the year. So people have been confused and they have been asking me so many questions to understand a few things. Number one, if people want to understand the things we wanted to understand are, because now this one is talking more about the certain type of visas. As you can see, it has been talking more about H1 visa, these type of visas. These are the visas many people have been talking about, and including J1 visas. So these are type of the visas we have been mentioning over and over. People want to know, does this affect also green card? That is something to understand, because we are talking about immigrant visas, which was the original suspension of the 60 days. I'll go to answer that one. But another question people want to understand, does this affect also some students or people want to travel to come to the United States of America? I'll go to explain that one. And then people want to understand what happens, because we didn't know if this one is going to be extended up until the end of the year. As you can see, it will be for the rest of the year, so until the end of December. If this one is going to be applied, I was talking before this official documentation, and I'm going to explain in detail. At that time, when this one was not signed yet, we didn't know the details which will be explained into this proclamation. So for the people who have won the DV2020, what will be their fate? Those who are waiting for the interview, is the game over? Or their visas, their spot for the interviews will be held for them for the going to the DV2021? I'll go to answer that one. And another thing is, what happens for the current DV lottery winners who the results came out? I'm going to answer that one. And I'm going to answer about what about those people who are DV lottery winners for 2020. They already interviewed at the US embassies. They have the visas on hand. What will be their fate? I'm going to answer that one. And on the most important part will be overall, will the DV lottery 2022, meaning DV in October, will it be there? That will be a very critical question, which I will try to answer. And I will go to finalize back like in more detail now, after looking about this one, about the future of the DV lottery explained. And I'll go to highlight certain key parts of this one, which will be the indicators to be able to determine what will be the future of the next DV lotteries, or how will it be possible modified if we can suspect in the future. Welcome everyone, this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM, the founder and the CEO of the EBM Scholars. Number one thing I want to say, I would like to say thank you everyone who has been very supportive of my YouTube channel. I would like to ask a favor for those who haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel to come here and on the red part, You can see here, you click subscribe, you can be able to subscribe. And then I would like to appreciate for those who have made my channel to have almost 38.7 thousand subscribers. Let's go to 50,000, please, everyone. If you're watching this YouTube channel, give me some more energy by clicking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And remember to share these videos with other people. Even if you are not the winner, even if this doesn't apply to you, you can be able to share. Because why? Because there are so many other videos here. You can click on the playlist. You can be able to see videos about scholarships in America and Europe. There are so many videos you can be able to see on my YouTube channel. So if you YouTube channel, you can be able to see, apart from there, you can see videos about YouTube, videos about American life and the successes, DV2020, American visas if you want to come as a student, you come to a tourist. If you want to come to America just through green card, whether it's by lottery, by marriage, by everything, it's here. Results, book publishing, scholarships in Europe and America. So there are so many things you can be able to benefit from this channel just beyond the green card lottery. So let's go straight to continue with all those kind of issues I've been mentioning on my YouTube. So let's go to the proclamation. In order to understand this proclamation, we have to go the original background of the original 60 days suspension. In the original 60-day suspension, overall, it is talking about the labor market. That was the original proclamation. And this proclamation, the original proclamation, at the time it was coming out, you can see there was a very big number of Americans who lost jobs because of the COVID-19. And you can see the unemployment rate, it went to this one. This decline in April, it is very, very, very huge. So when we are talking about this one, unemployment is very huge. And what does that mean? Usually here in America, if you lose the job, you are going to be paid. As long as you didn't quit the job, there are certain reasons you have to qualify, but you'll be given unemployment benefits. I want to explain this one so that you can understand out of our emotions, what are the actual facts on place. So number one, the US government, there are state governments and the federal government. On the state level, usual, if for instance, I've been working and I've been laid off, or because of maybe I was working in the restaurant, I was working to supermarket, I was working to certain office and the office was closed because of the COVID-19, then I was unemployed. So the state will give you a certain amount. Most of the states, they give around 2,000. Few states, they go up to $2,500 per month. And that was a little bit of small amount. So for that case, because of the COVID-19, there was what we call the first stimulus check. The first stimulus check gave also one of the aspects of that package was to also add 600 per week. So 2,400 per month for unemployed people from March to end of July. Meaning, so someone will get at least 4,000 to 4,500 per month for being unemployed. So the US government has to find different ways so that people can go back to work in order for not state government to spend all the money to pay people for not being unemployed, plus the federal to add more money. So that's why there are so many reasons as to why they are going to find different ways on how to protect the labor market here in America right now. So in the proclamation, which was given out in April 22nd, which was suspension of entry of immigrants, that one was going to put on immigrants who were posing, say, the suspension of entry of immigrants who present a risk to the United States labor market during the economic recovery following the 2019 novel COVID coronavirus outbreak. So this was the original travel, this was the original one. If you can go and search there, you will find the original proclamation, which is here. That is the original one. No, this is still the newer one, whatever, but just wait. So let's talk about this one. So this was the original one. And this original one, they went to go and they suspended for 60 days the entry of aliens who are aliens as immigrants. Why they targeted mostly just immigrant. And let me clarify, when we're talking about immigrant visas, we mean people who are coming in the United States on a permanent basis. Some people who are coming here on a permanent basis as green card holders. We are not talking about someone who's coming as a tourist. Immigrant or immigrant visas are visas which are related for people to come to the United States on a permanent basis and as green card holders. For that case, these people, when they come here from day one, they are allowed to work without any restrictions. So that's why they say, as noted, these people who are coming as immigrants or lawful permanent residents, basically, once admitted to pursuant immigrant visas, are granted open market employment authorization documents, allowing them immediate eligibility to compete for almost any job. They are saying almost because almost 99% of federal jobs, you must be a US citizen to work on the federal jobs. So almost any job in any sector of the economy. So because of that, so given that 60 days is an insufficient time for the period of American labor market, still started with the partial social distancing measure and everything like that one. So Americans from the, to protect Americans from the threat of competition of scarce jobs from new lawful permanent resident, the consideration present the proclamation, this one remain. So meaning by this one, because there are no changes, the proclamation, which was intention of protecting American jobs, will continue to remain. Has not been, because the 60 days is over. Remember, it was April 22nd when this one was given out. So June 22nd is the 60 days. It has expired. So what is the change? The proclamation 10014, proclamation 11104 remain, will still be there. Meaning, this proclamation, immigrants will not be allowed to be given the immigrant visas. I will give some exceptions who are allowed to be given in this time. So meaning, if we are talking about the green card lottery winners here, whether you are DV lottery winner for 2020, obviously for the remainder of the year, the fiscal year for the DV 2020 was supposed to end on September 30th, 2020, for people to go to the visa. So I don't want to be the bearer of the bad news. For that case, for the people for the DV lottery winner DV 2020 will not be able to process their DV lottery for the remainder of the fiscal year DV 2020. So that is, I'm very, very sorry to tell you that news, that you will not be able to process, and for that moment, you cannot be able to process anything. That is number one. But in addition to pursuant of this one, in addition, which remains to, in addition to this one proclamation, in addition to that proclamation for the permanent resident or immigrant visas suspension, in addition to that, the Secretary of Labor and the Secretary of Homeland Security reviewed also non-immigrant programs. Remember, I was talking about immigrant programs. The proclamation 10014 was only mainly for immigrant visas. It didn't touch any non-immigrant visas. Meaning people who are coming for H1 visa were able to continue to get H1 visas. But people who were coming as researchers were able to continue to come as researchers. So it didn't affect non-immigrant visas. Non-immigrant visas, in short, for those who don't understand, non-immigrant visas are visas where someone is coming in the US for temporary time. You come as a student, you come as a researcher, you come as a seasonal worker, you come to stay maybe for 1 year. You are not a green card holder. You are not a permanent here. So that is non-immigrant visas. So on the original proclamation, which now remains in effect, which affected permanent resident or immigrant visas, I will come to talk about the DV lottery winners for 2021. I talked about DV2020 first of all, that for now, their system is over. I know some people, they already have done their medical, they have gone a lot of expenses. It's bad. I'm sorry, but that's the reality, what is going on. But in addition to that, now they are talking about the non-immigrant programs. And here is not all the programs, not all the non-immigrant visas. There are certain non-immigrant visas we are talking about here. So we are going, so the Secretary of Labor and the Secretary of Homeland Security reviewed the non-immigrant programs and found that these non-immigrant programs present admission of workers with several non-immigrant categories also poses a risk of displacing and disadvantaging United States workers during the current recovery. So out of these non-immigrant programs, there are non-immigrant programs, which those of non-immigrant programs, there are certain categories over there, not like a student. We're not talking about a student. I will come to explain that one. Those kind of non-immigrant programs, like H1 visa, J1 visa, L visa, H1, H2B, whatever, those kind of visas, they are going to pose or present some risk of displacing and disadvantaging United States workers during the recovery. So if this also going to pose that one, so that's why in the new proclamation, they are going to add that one. So in addition to normal proclamation of immigrant visas, we are going to talk about the additional of non-immigrant visas. So American workers compete against foreign nationals for jobs in every sector of our economy, including against millions of aliens who enter into the United States to perform temporary work. Temporary workers are often accompanied by their spouses and children, many of whom are also compete against American workers. Under ordinary circumstances, properly administered temporary workers programs can provide benefits to the economy. That's we know that. But under the extraordinary circumstances, the economic contradiction resulting from the COVID-19 outbreak, certain non-immigrant visas program authorizing such employment pose an unusual threat to the economy, to the employment of American workers. So for that case, so they give the example. Between February and April, 17 million people lost their jobs. And which employers are seeking to fill workers' position tied to H2B visas. During the same period, more than 20 million United States workers lost their jobs in key industries, where employers are currently requesting H1B and L workers to fill those positions. So what they were trying to do is these positions which were filled by H1 visa, H1B, and L workers positions to be filled by Americans. Also, in the May unemployment rate for young Americans, those who compete with the J visas, it provided this number of %. So for that case, also J1 visa is there, but there is exception on J1 visa. So the entry of additional workers, H1 visa, H1B, H2B, J, and L non-immigrant visas program therefore present a significant threat to unemployment opportunities for Americans affected by extraordinary economic disruptions caused by the COVID-19 outbreak. There are exceptions will be there. So these exceptions, I'm not going to read the full thing, but these exceptions are going to be on certain types of, for instance, if you are J1, you are coming to teach at the university level as J1. You are coming exchange visitor like a Fulbright. I was a Fulbright scholar. I came here to teach. Those are not affected. But there are certain kind of J1 you are coming to work as normal work, not like a researcher. That one will be affected. So for that case, how does this one going to be until when? This is going to say, in the light of the above, I have determined that the entry through December 31st, 2020 of certain aliens as immigrants and non-immigrants will pose a detrimental to the interests of the United States of America. So this proclamation of immigrant and non-immigrant visas of these categories we have mentioned will be extended until the remainder of the year, until the end of the year, December 31st, 2020. For that case, if we were working on as a DV lottery winner for DV 2020, obviously you cannot be able to process that one because your end of the fiscal year is September, end of September. And for the DV 2021, usually October 1st is when they are going to start to provide interviews for people. So because of this one is until December, end of December. So the first person to be interviewed for DV 2021 lottery winners, it will be January 2021, January 1st, unless otherwise we are going to have any other changes. But basically, the DV lottery winners will be able to undergo everything by the end of beginning of January 2021 is when they'll be going for the interviews. So, what does that mean? Now, therefore, the president, by authority vested in me, by constitution, in the law, blah, 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 everything is going this one. So, this proclamation is going to be into effect. So, the termination of this one will depend. So, first of all, this proclamation will expire December, as I was saying, December 31st, 2021. So for that case, it might be continue as necessary. So if the coronavirus continues, if the state of the labor market continues to be disrupted, the extension will continue to be there. The extension will continue to be there. This is very, very careful. Extension will continue to be there as necessary. So this is going, I'll come back to this one to answer the question. Will the DV lottery be there in October? Application, the next application for DV 2022? The answer is here. Because we'll be in this one, there are two things, two scenarios. Number one, they might say, let's run people to apply for the DV lottery, because that will be for 2022, economy will be back normal, and then we can continue that way. But the other option, which I see they'll be going with, I'll come to explain this one. Why can't we skip this year? Because why should we increase other people? I'll come to explain that one in detail because of the nature of the economy. So within the 30 days of June, this one, and every 60 days, this proclamation is in effect. And in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Secretary of Labor, they'll be doing any modification if anything comes up, basically that way. And it will be immediately. So for that case, this one is going to affect these kind of visas. J1, as I was mentioning, those who are coming to do like intern, trainee, camp counselor, peer, summer working program, whatever, all these one will be affected. But this one doesn't affect people who are coming as researchers, people who are coming as Fulbright scholars to come to teach at the universities. I was exchange visitor scholar, Fulbright scholar to come to teach. So if you're coming to do a Fulbright scholar to do PhD, masters, teaching, those kind of FLTA, foreign language teaching assistant program, you are not going to be affected on this one. Then L visa also will be affected. Okay. the other few things which I want to go quickly, I'm going to affect. So this one does not affect the following, shall not apply to the following people. If you are already a permanent resident of the United States, obviously this one doesn't affect you. But if you are a spouse or a child of a US citizen, this one does not affect you. So if you are, for instance, let's say my spouse is Tanzanian and I'm a US citizen, I can process my spouse to be given a green card regardless of this kind of proclamation being there. If your child is a child of US citizen, regardless of this proclamation, this one does not affect you because they cannot be able to separate the family. But obviously, it will be able to affect the other type of immigrant. Like you cannot, for instance, if I'm going to sponsor my parent, I'm going to sponsor, let's say my sister, my siblings, or green card holder to sponsor a sibling. Those will be affected because they are not direct as immediate family as category of this to be defined as to be a spouse or child of a US citizen. And then there will be people who are coming specifically for essential service essentials like a food supply chain. So there are certain kind of those one. And also there are some national interest waiver, we know that. So those are some of the critical issues which they are going to be discussed about this proclamation. Okay, few other things we need to understand on this one. So few quick things before I continue. As I said, it's already going to be until it's going to start officially this day on June 24th until December, end of December. So I'm going to quickly go to ask a few questions. So this has already been signed in the other things. So I'm going to answer a few things now from this moment. Few things. Number one is, in the video, this one which I explained, I said the future of the DV lottery. Future of the DV lottery. I explained. So what will be the future of the DV lottery? So I want to give you some of the explanation. So this is the Trump administration extending visa ban to non-immigrants. So it was originally for immigrant, now it has been extended to non-immigrant of those categories we have been talking about. So few things we need to understand. So Trump imposed a 60-day ban on the green cards issued abroad in April, which was set to expire on Monday, obviously on Monday, which is June 22nd. That announcement, which largely targeted the family members, drew surprising chilly perception, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So, but there are key things I want to explain about the future of the green card lottery. Number one, I'm going to cycle this one, and I'm going back to the proclamation. On this one, let's go to very important part of this proclamation, which said, this one, it will be going to be reviewed over and over to see what will be able to continue. Basically, this one is going to be until, if the unemployment is going to be threat for, if the unemployment is continue to be a threat, that means the ban will be continue. The suspension will be continue. I've determined that this entry will be this one is aliens detrimental to the interest. So for that case, I forgot where I was that when I read that one. I will just okay. So this is this one. So this proclamation shall expire on this date, and maybe continue as necessary. So what will be the future of the DV lottery? So some of this suspension will be able to modify. They can allow some they cannot be able to allow. So this is a very key. Let me zoom more. You can be able to see very clearly what I mean. Oh, sorry. This one is a key to the determining this is the key to determine whether there will be a DV lottery or not, because maybe continue as necessary. So let's start with what will be happening for the DV 2021. Currently, this proclamation expires on December 31st, 2020, meaning the winners of the DV 2021, they will start having interview at the US embassies by January 1st, obviously January 2nd, because January 1st is public holiday, January 2nd, obviously, 2021. But if the unemployment rate continue to be high, or they see that people are not hired as expected, basing on the decision or advice from Secretary of Homeland Security and the consultation with the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Labor, they will recommend whether this one might be continued as necessary. So if this one is going to be continued, the people who have won the DV 2021 will be also in so much trouble. Maybe they might start interviewed in May. We do not know. And something you need to understand is there is spring as a season has a lot of flu because of so many factors coming up of the flowers and the allergies and the pollens and everything. So we do not know whether that time there will be another spike, another eruption, whatever we call it, of the COVID. If that comes out and we go and get more people losing jobs, that might be able to continue this one. So the future will be determined by the labor market. So for the people who have won the DV 2021, they don't need it to be too much waiting and figuring out like, okay, I'm going. So don't start celebrating. That is something you need to know. Secondly, I'm going to this one, talking about the DV 2022. I made this video about DV 2022. Let me click videos here. I made it the next DV lottery, basically when it will be the DV 2022. This one basically was assumption is this is not going to affect. So the DV 2022 might be affected because of this one. So until October, by September, we will know the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary of State, and the Secretary of Labor, they might decide because of the trend what we are having. And remember, the election will be coming up. So people might be having more coronavirus because of the election, because of the campaign. So if the number of corona is going up and everything, they might end up saying, let's not going to have the DV lottery this year. Or they might allow people to play, but they can continue to monitor the labor market, how it is, and when you will be able to be given the visas, if you'll be able to win for the DV 2022. So that is something you need to understand. But another thing which I want to show you, which I highlighted here, I want to show you is this one. H1 visa, let's start this one. Each year they're giving 85,000 H1 visa for highly specialized knowledge with the people with a minimum of bachelor degree in science, technology, engineering, teaching, accounting. So, and there are some people who are critics are saying this kind of jobs have been used, this high tech, they are using this one to replace Americans to give it to foreigners. So by going to do stopping H1B visas, it means per year there are 85,000 jobs in highly specialized knowledge about science, technology, engineering, teaching, accounting. Those kind of jobs will be going to the Americans. So how does this one is going to be one of the way to see how the modification of the new DV lottery will look like? I gave 3 different ways on the next lottery, how will be able to be done. As I said, there will be some changes. One of the change, if you can see, they are saying this way. The administration, the current administration, is proposing a new way of awarding H-1B visas. The official said, awarding them by the highest salary instead of by lottery. Basically, for those who do not know, H-1B visas, people are applying. After applying, then they play a lottery for H-1B visas. Then if you are going to win, you are going to be processing for the visa. So there is a certain way, but the maximum is 85,000 per year. For the DV lottery is random selection for anybody, regardless whether you didn't go to school even in standard 1 or you have PhD, and they're going to give 55,000 visas. So just let it think by yourself. If they are going to propose to change this one, this kind of visas, which was in your lottery form of H1 visas, they want to do looking on the highest salary. That means they are going to look like, obviously, someone with the degree, masters of, let's say, maybe IT, and get a job at Silicon Valley, maybe at Apple company, with a salary of 100,000, that person will be more critical than someone is coming here to work as a technician for $40,000 US job. The job can be done by many Americans. So for that case, they are going to change not the lottery system. This is what they are proposing. Meaning, if they're going to change from the lottery to the highest salary, so it means now it will be a careful selection on the people with the highly specialized knowledge, with the highly experience. It will not be just a bachelor degree, it will go with more than that. So if this will be one of the way of changing, why should not they, I mean, even I'm giving example myself, there will be a need for changing of the lottery system, of just not being random, just like I've been saying about Canada. If Canada is going to take the professional workers to go to Canada, you have to get from degree from certain kind of levels. You must have certain kind of work experience to apply and do all the interviews to be able to locate to Canada as a professional worker. So this will be different thing, and I believe there will be changing. Instead of bringing someone, just random selection, someone with the primary school education, they might say we need someone with a bachelor degree or master's degree. That will be one of the options. They haven't proposed anything yet, but I'm trying to give you the perspective to think bigger, because this is the time of a reset button. When there will be a coronavirus, almost every country, every job, everyone is going on the reset button to evaluate. So they'll be evaluating. So if we are going to evaluate on these professionals, why can't we going to evaluate on the lottery, which is going to bring people even who don't have primary school education? So they will be able to go above high school. High school is a very minimum education. They will say, no, we have so much high school already in America. We have so much bachelor degree. Maybe they want masters or bachelor degree on certain kind of programs. That will be one of the way. Because if they want to end the lottery system within the specialized, highly educated people, what about this one who is is random selection even for not highly educated people? So that is something you need to understand. It will be coming. Another thing which I've been saying is, if they might be looking at this one, if there are so many people already in America who are coming here as a student, some people get master's scholarships, they get PhD scholarships, they finish, you don't give them the green card, they have to go to the other countries. This is when President Obama was on one of his speech was saying, why are we giving education to people from China, to people from Africa, people from other countries? We give them scholarships, they come here, they study, and then they finish, then we don't give them, we give maybe OPT 1 year, and then we tell them to go back to their own countries. Why can't they give maybe a mandatory that you must work in America at least for 5 years so that you can benefit with their knowledge? Instead of bringing someone brand new to give that job, why can't you use the people who already have masters here or bachelor degree here? So another future of the lottery will be for people who already have education in America, either bachelor, master's, or PhD. Why? Because these people in America, one, they know the culture. Secondly, they have education from here. Third, they have work experience already here, because if you're a student 2 years or bachelor degree 4 years, you have been working here 4 years already. So these people are not going to be public charge likely compared to immigrants coming directly from day one with your bachelor degree or your high school or your primary school education. So those are some of the 3 possible things they might be able to think about, either to completely cancel the DV lottery, or to modify the lottery, or to let it go, and then they'll determine based on the labor market, how they are saying it will depend on the labor market. And also they can just completely end it, or let's say modify by giving, like, you now will be like people with a certain life education or special kind of programs you have studied, like engineering, whatever it is. So, or they can say only people who are in America already and they have this kind of education, they'll be able to apply. So we do not know yet. But no matter what, because the green card lottery started at 1 year, it has been almost 30 years since the lottery started. It has to reach a point you have to evaluate. No country on the planet Earth has a lottery system. US will also follow the route of Canada. If you want to bring people to work, why can't you find the people who are very skilled, very educated, to bring them in America than everybody with random selection? Even if someone has the experience to be a taxi driver, you can bring them in America. Someone has the experience of making chapati, you bring them in America. So those are the things which will be critical. I'm not saying this one, I don't want people to come to America. I'm saying this one, just think these kind of things in the eyes of America, not in the eyes of you as immigrant. Think about America. America has already 375 million people. And the number one priority of the government is to protect their people for the labor, economy, from everything. That's the number one priority. Their priority is not to make development of other countries. And England doesn't have a lottery system. Germany doesn't have a lottery system. No other country has a lottery system. So why should we have that one? America will ask themselves these kind of questions. So if they're going to cancel, don't get upset. It is the time it has to reach to end certain things like this way. That's why my YouTube channel has been talking other ways, how to be able to get scholarships. Go to this playlist. Or if you can go here, down here, I've been talking about scholarships in America and Europe. Go here and just watch these videos. Bachelor, masters, not only to come to America, even to go to Europe. What kind of things you need to know? All these videos. This one is a free book, PhD book, for those who are looking for PhD book. This is a free book. It's over there. There is a link. Just go and watch. There are so many opportunities. You can go to study in Harvard, online free courses. Study in America, masters, the procedures, they are there. Bachelor degree, Berea College, 100% scholarships in America. They are there. I don't know why. That's why I'm being explained to people. There are so many other ways you can be able to get opportunities to come to America or to go to Europe. So don't put all your dreams and all your life plans basing on the lottery. You cannot control that. So if you're in college, study hard, get higher grades, GPA. You can be able to compete in Europe, in America. If you are now in high school, study hard, go and get a bachelor degree in your own country. First of all, get that kind of degree. If you are masters, apply for masters, apply for PhD, both in Europe and in America. You can be able to get those kind of things. So there are so many opportunities you can be able to do. This is a summer program. It has been there. I mean, now it is over. But there are these kind of opportunities, summer programs. There are internships. There are so many things people need to understand. Those kind of things will be able to help you. So don't put your all dreams and entire lifestyle basing on the lottery. So those are the things I want to explain to you about the DV lottery, about immigrant visas. This proclamation doesn't affect someone who is coming to America as a student. F1 visa doesn't affect you. B1 visa, whatever. Those who are coming to tourists or coming to visit America, it doesn't affect you. So apply for as a student, you can be able to come. This is a very critical. I know some people get upset so much with the entire politics. This is not a political. Even myself, if I were the US president, 99% I could go and do the same thing of making this suspension. Because as a president, if I'm a president of the United States of America, my number one job is to protect the labor market for my citizens. Just like other countries in Africa, other countries in Europe. Right now, Kenya, for instance, has a restriction of people to go to Kenya. Just like US. Rwanda has restrictions. All countries have restrictions for coronavirus. Because people lost their jobs, Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, whatever, Liberia, you cannot be able allowing people to come to your country and take the jobs. There's something in Africa we are upset every single day why Chinese are coming to Africa and take all our jobs. They come there, they even do the jobs which are very minimal. Why they're occupying Africa? They're taking all our jobs. They're giving the hard time. So, because we are saying the same thing, the same way America is saying the same thing, why people from other countries are coming here to take our jobs? If you are coming here, you need to come get better jobs than not coming here. Your primary school, you are becoming public charge. In addition of not getting professional jobs, we end up giving you the money from the taxes which you haven't paid yet. That's why they've introduced the public charge reform so that they can make a situation where people, once you are coming here, you are going to defend or you are going to survive on your own terms and not depending extra money from the government. So those are the signs on where are we going. I've heard some people talking about, oh, they have to go to the court. Even if you go to the court, doing what? If you go to the court, like, so you want to go to the court that Americans not to have jobs and the jobs to be given to the foreigners. No judge will go to rule against that one. The same way when the proclamation came about, for instance, the proclamation about the first one, people went to the court. This is a pandemic. Each country will take measures to create jobs for their people. If you want to try, go now to ask for the visa to go to England. Go and ask the visa to go to Germany. Go and ask the visa to go to Finland. You see how complicated it is. Don't look America, oh, these people are racist. These people don't want for us to go. No, all first world countries are the same. They have the same or similar restrictions to come here or to go to these countries. It's the same complications. You can go, people don't confuse to go to Middle Eastern countries. If you want to go to Saudi Arabia to work, going to Saudi Arabia, going to Oman, going to Yemen, going to those countries to work, even for the general labor jobs, you can be given the visa. That doesn't work. You cannot just come to US to become a nanny. No. There are certain restrictions. And even if someone is going to hire you to be a nanny, you have to be given a certain kind of contract. There is a minimum 1,200 US dollar per month. You have to be paid. You have to be paid insurance. You have to pay food. You have to be paid. So there are so many complications. That's why we cannot afford even to have a nanny. And bringing someone here to work for you without following the procedures, that is considered as modern day slavery. You'll be in so much trouble. So this is what I want to try to explain to people. Also, yes, you can be able to wait for the DV lottery, but try to think for different other ways on how you can be able to survive, on how you can be able to excel on your own beyond that way. So that is overall the, I want to make sure that you understand what does that mean. Because by suspension of these kind of visas is going to create, to free the jobs, restrictions. We are going to free 500,000 jobs for Americans. That's what they're talking about, the Department of Labor. So let's wait and see what will happen down the road. I'm so sorry for the winners of the DV 2020. It has been sad. Some people have already spent so much time. Corona came, then there are no visas. But for those who have visas right now, I have someone in Fiji, I have some people in Uganda, you are allowed to travel. If you have already a visa stamp on your passport, you are not affected because you have already been given the visa. You can travel. Those who were waiting for the interview, that will be game over. And those who are winners for DV2021, Go ahead and finish filling the form DS260 as normal. Process things as normal, and you are waiting to be called for the interview from January. Hopefully things will not change at that time. But if things change, we'll come and have more discussion about that one. Thank you so much, everyone. I would like to wish you all the best, everyone. And before I leave, I would like to remind you once again to go to my YouTube channel and click subscribe here. And if you go to here to Happy Kids channel, this is a channel for my kids. Please go to Happy Kids Television or Happy Kids channel and please subscribe. It is a very good channel. It helps to show you videos about so many things, how you can spend good time with your children, cooking, playing around with them. You can see there are so many videos. So it's just beyond of the video games, these kind of cartoons. There are so many things you can be able to do that. So thank you everyone for your continued support to my YouTube channel. And I'm going to put the link of this proclamation here, and I'll go to put the link of the videos which I've made, the videos which I've recently uploaded about the future of the DV lottery, and specifically about the breaking news I've been talking about, the suspension. In case of any question, please let me know. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you once again. Sorry, it has been a very long video.